All right. Make sure we're ready to start. All right. Should be it. Oh, all right. Welcome everyone to the Black Band Broadcast. We find that fantastic PDF that we always use to start the show. Don't forget to go tell a friend to tell a friend we're live. While my machine tries to find this thing, show, hide, yet read mode. There you go. All right. I hope you've had a fantastic, constructive week. I really do. I really, really do. All right. Let us find it here. Can't find it. Actually, I'm trying to find it. Couldn't find it. Share screen. Yep, share screen. And then it's there. It is. Ta-da. Welcome to the show. This is the 288th show. That's 280 attempts at working with the community to find constructive solutions. Isn't that great? Sounds great. Had a very, very cool week. Big up, brother IC3. And everyone else who are in the background, and those who will be in the background, and those who will be in the background in the future time. You know, the show really works well when you come in live to just give your comments, and you're always welcome to jump in. Matter of fact, I don't think I've even. Let me share this as well. Constructive. So yeah, where are we? So we're going to start the show as we always show, and that is talking about retroactive expectations. What is that? That is the constructive activities the Black community are designed to uphold to collectively recover from atrocities from the past. That's right. So that means remember the atrocities inflicted upon the ancestors and community in the past and present, and behave in a way that reflects this. Reconnect with Black people locally and globally, and form networks to teach each other about different cultures. Nice. Repair the Black community of historical trauma. We're going to go over that today. That causes self-hate challenges and health issues. And rebuild the Black family, Black economics, and Black nations. All right. There you go. Sounds fantastic. You know, in order to make that process easier, we practice a lifestyle known as Black Betterment, which is simply a lifestyle of Black people continuously helping Black people. That's it. It's not rocket science. It's not brain surgery. It's, make an attempt, try to improve. Sounds great. Yes, it does. Oh yeah, cool. We send a link out every week. People's always welcome to join in. If you do, don't forget about the 4D values, and that is discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. If you can remember these things, it'll make helping the community slightly more easier. So don't forget it. That's right. All right, try not to use derogatory language if possible. It's we're all adults here, but it's just sometimes it might cause confusion or anxiety, and we don't know the age range of who's listening, so we try to keep that in mind if possible. All right, so two topics today, and I might even jump to a third topic over because there was a video I saw that I might want to listen to anyway. Maybe I should start. Should I start on that one? Maybe I'll leave that one for last because they might be more interesting to me, as in from a continuous standpoint. So it's Black ethnicities in social conflict. We discuss how to approach Black ethnicities in fighting and the ways to find solutions. And I think that's CAF, I think that's right, versus Senegal Football. We discuss the overturning of the Senegal AFCON victory over Morocco. Yeah, that'll be a quick one, that one. We'll go over that quick, and we'll probably replace that one. Do it with the other topic I want to talk about. But we'll cover it in. So we might even start with that one too. Why not get out of the way and that good stuff. So yeah, the first topic is sort of brother. I follow him. I think I should follow him from getting his tweet. We covered some of his work. He was talking about there's a guy in America who He does documentaries called Tariq Nasheed. Very talented guy, very controversial, polarizing, and I think he's one of the few black people I'm aware. I think him and Farrakhan, maybe a few others, who've been banned from the UK, and they were banned because they felt that them coming to the UK might actually incite black people to do certain things. But yeah, I think maybe they're someone's trying to get it revoked. I don't know. But he came on and he wasn't best pleased about that the guy in the UK, brother in the UK. So we're going to unpack how to approach those situations. And obviously the CAF versus Senegal. Senegal played Morocco a few months back. They won, but there was a controversial thing where I think they thought they were cheating or something. So they took a 15-minute break or something. And while that was happening, before that was happening, there was infighting and people in the stadium hitting each other, all sorts, whatever. And they won the tournament, but apparently the CFA, I think that's what is it, CFA, reversed it. I've never heard that before, to be honest. That's a new one. So we just covered it because we were covering the anti-blackness in the world of football in Africa and this kind of stuff. So yeah, there you go. So let me start with that. Let's see if I can find some videos that might even discuss that too, because you'll talk better than I. Obviously, there's one or two that I came across on my feed, so I just downloaded it. Let's see if I can find it. I haven't really named these, so it's gonna be. Let's see what this is. That one.
So hold up. So let me get this straight. Senegal, the same football guy.
They said there's two brothers. Let's see what they're saying about.
That are in barbershops, damn near ready to come to blows. Football guys, the same football guys that are on WhatsApp all day arguing about Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City. Football guys, the same football guys that are on all these blogs talking about we've got Flaminio, we've got Janino, this one, that one. I want to see you same guys talking about the injustice that was done against the Senegal national team. Now, not only were they wrongly stripped of their AFCON title, but also they've been taken out of the World Cup. Now, people like Jamie Carragher have said that the AFCON nations is a joke. And I agree with him. It's a joke. All African teams, no, let me rephrase it. All black African teams need to boycott the African Nations Cup. Simple as that. Simple. North Africa, I don't even know what to say, man. I want to see the football guys out in a full effect today. They robbed the Senegalese team.
Yeah. All right. I'll put my plate down. So yeah, that's one brothers there. So he's saying that everyone who talks about football, black people, should we be talking about that? Obviously, some people think it's sport, let it go, but I think there was some injustice. Also, there were some issues, the king of Morocco not wanting to give the trophy to Senegal. For some, the reason might be he felt they're cheated. Some people think it might be discrimination. Who knows? Wasn't really in the spirit of the game. That kind of stuff. Let's see what big up, brother. IC3's in the place, but welcome back, bro.
Yeah, greetings.
Let's see another person talk about this football thing. I'm trying to find this second one. Why does that one not work? Fact stack safe. Oh no, that's actually project work. Man is. Let's see.
So as you know, hold on.
Yeah, let's see what this person says about.
So let me get this straight. Senegal scored in the final. At full time, the score was 1-0. Senegal got their medals. Senegal lifted the trophy. Senegal went to their country with the trophy. The trophy was on the plane. The president met the team and held the trophy. The team had a parade. The whole country was there. The whole world saw it. I was in Morocco when it happened. And now CAF have stripped Senegal of their AFCON title because according to Articles 82 and 84 of their disciplinary regulation, if a team abandons a match voluntarily without proper authorization from the referee, it is considered a forfeit, which is a 3-0 defeat. Now, rules are rules, and nobody's above the rules. But this is why we have referees, and we trust in their knowledge and expertise to implement those rules in real time, not 3 months later. Because in that case, Maradona shouldn't have a World Cup title, Thierry Henry and France should have never made it to the 2010 World Cup, and Arjen Robben should have never got that penalty against Mexico in 2014. But apparently now we doing things after the fact. So the power ball from last month, I think I want to win that.
Morocco. If you've seen any of my previous videos about my views on that AFCON tournament, that match between Morocco and Senegal, you know how I feel about Moroccans. And I've always said not all, I don't want to generalize, but as a majority, the racism over there is unbelievable. These people walked off stage as a protest towards the disrespect and the racism that they were encountering from the moment they landed. Let's not forget, they did not even show them any hospitality. They didn't even give them proper accommodation, proper transportation. These people were being surrounded by fans, no security. Come on, from the moment they landed, the pitch they were given to practice on, everyone has admitted it. All the reporters or the news reporters or the broadcasters who were televising that tournament said that they were not given proper grounds to practice on. And on top of that as well, they could be viewed, so their tactics could be studied and stolen by the Moroccans. Come on, man. What do you expect from a people whose king's personal advisor is an Israeli, who's pro-Israeli, when you're meant to be a Muslim country? Look, this is the gentleman right here. That's him right there. His name is Andre Ozula. I don't know how to pronounce it. Ozule. Look at him, man. This man, 100%. So he's an Israeli. He's a Jewish man. This is the personal advisor for the King of Morocco. I've always said it. There are a bunch of coconuts up there. These are a bunch of Arabs and Europeans. They're not African. They're not. I'm sorry, they're not. The way they're going on, trust me, the nasty stuff I've heard come out their mouth, these people are not. They're not pro-African. This is who he chooses as his advisor. Come on. While these people are being blown apart in the Middle East, he says, don't worry, my brother. You come and give me advice. Guess what advice he's giving him? Guess what advice this man is giving the King of Morocco? The same advice that they've given you guys to think that you've won something that you've not won fair and square. I'm seeing video. Look at this. Look at this. Look at it.
Is that actually after they announced it? They celebrate? That's interesting.
These ain't Africans. Come on, man. These people are happy. They're celebrating months later. Because they didn't have the skill to win it properly. That's why they had to use those racist and disrespectful tactics. Look at this. This is skill.
Mental strength in the world. Maybe lost a yard or two of pace, Sadio Mane, but he inspires an attack. Senegal thrust forward. Okay!
That's skill. That's skill. I'm going to reload that for you guys. What's the strategy? What's the tactics? What's the formation? Look at that.
Wow.
That's skill.
Good goal.
That's skill. That's how the game was won. And then they got jealous and started saying that there's voodoo involved in the towels. They started pulling towels, started doing all kinds of crazy.
We did cover that when some of the Burr boys and some others maybe were pulling the towels and attacking the substitute goalkeeper to get the towels. Very peculiar behavior in a football match. Very peculiar behavior. Very odd.
Stuff to try and discredit such skill and craftsmanship. They left the pitch as a protest to say, look, this is just too much. And can you imagine they used that as a means to say they forfeited? Look, rules are rules. But can we not see what they were doing to make these people have to leave the pitch in the first place? No one wants to talk about that. No one wants to talk about that. Anyway, there's one Moroccan here who seems to have common sense. I believe so. Let's have a listen.
No, I don't want the AFCON because Morocco winning the AFCON is like, you know when you used to like somebody in middle school and then you glowed up and now you look cute and now they want you? I'm like, no, thank you. I don't need you in my life. Like, go away. That's how I feel about the AFCON. I'm like, I lost interest. You know, 2 months passed by. I'm focusing on the World Cup. Let's win the World Cup. Now, it doesn't feel like a win to me. You feel me?
He lost.
Some sort of common sense. At least he's being honest about the fact that they don't want it. At least he's being honest. Because it does feel like, I saw someone say, football matches are won on the pitch, not in emails. These guys won this via email. Yeah, guys, just thought we'd let you know that we've let Senegalese guys know that we've done the job for you. Here's the cup. Even though you didn't like win it based on merit, based on morality, based on ethics, and based on hospitality, you won it based on racism towards your sub-Saharan African brothers. Here you go. Here you go. I can't believe it. It's just. Anyway, let's hear what some other people have to say. This one sister here, let's see what she has to say.
We're going to court, Senegal. I don't care if we have to crowd fund, pass a hat around, call the IMF. What CAF just did? Okay, so for anyone just tuning in, on January the 18th, Senegal's national football team won AFCON against Morocco's national football team. Now, let's be honest, that match was messy on both sides. We had towel gates from Morocco, pitch invasions from Senegal. Guys, both sides were acting like their borders were being redrawn. But here's really where it started. Morocco gets blessed with a very sus penalty, and that's what sent Senegal's national football team over the edge, because it just added to the that the referee was pandering to the host nation. Anyways, that triggered a partial walk-off by some Senegalese players, and then Sadio Mane, who stayed on pitch, goes to the back to gather them to play. Brahim Diaz then misses the gifted penalty with a weak Penenka that went nowhere, and then Senegal went on to win AFCON 1-0 in extra time. So naturally, we would expect fines, suspensions on both sides, the normal CAF behavior. But 2 months later, you want to reopen the case and strip titles? No, that's not
Majnoon.
discipline. That's revision. Let's talk about it. They want to use Articles 84 and 82 and say Senegal walked off, but the same article states that if a team leaves without the authorization of a referee, because the referee is the authority on the field, they lose. The quick question then, if the referee allowed them to come back and finish the match, was it really a walk-off or a dramatic water break? Because the last time
the presidents of CAF, I think they're the black guy, 2 black guys, interesting. But yeah, anyway, that's the football thing. I let anyone talk about it, any comments. I don't know much about it, but it does seem a bit of a travesty. And I know there was much abuse and stuff going on the actual pitch that you would get in a normal game. And the referee, he didn't call it then if there was an issue, and they usually say if the referee's called it's fine or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. Very, very interesting thing. Let us know if you got any comments on that in the panel or in the group if you want to speak more. If not, we'll move on to the next topic, which will take a bit longer to be honest, but it'll kind of go around the horses. So this is an interesting one. This is let's see what made me actually say this, because I think it's this one here. No, it's this one. It's a bit of this brother here. I'll give you some back context.
We are members of the Jamaican diaspora. So when the hurricane was going on recently, we were watching it. We were really watching it and invested because those are our people. And there was one particular TikTok live that Tariq Nasheed was hosting, and Jamaicans were calling in, and he.
So the reason why I assume people in the UK know about Tariq Nasheed is because he made a lot of like pro-black documentaries on an independent level, and this is probably around about 2010. So you're looking at, I think that's 60. Is that 16 years? Is that 16 years? It might be 16 years. So around about that time, I don't know if it was Black Panther or whatever it was. There was a whole lot of black consciousness coming out. YouTube had a lot of black channels on that. Amongst that, he came out, and his documentaries were the ones that really he would hire a lot of the black speakers and deliver quite a high quality product called Hidden Colors. I think it was. Yeah, Hidden Colors 1 and stuff. So that's, I assume, how most people would know him. And some I've known before when he was doing dating stuff, or I don't know what he was doing. But what's happened is in recent times, I've covered this and the same concept. There's been ongoing squabbles between Africans and Caribbeans in America versus some African Americans, and I guess online and this kind of thing. And I think amongst the squabbles that's going on, there was a discussion about Jamaican relief for the hurricane, and maybe that's what this gentleman saw.
He was just calling them tethers.
So this word tether, we covered it last time. Does anyone want to talk on the topic? Feel free to jump in. What seems to happen is that's what I was saying, name calling. And the reason I'm showing this more so is for educational purposes, just about the things we've been saying. Once you go down name calling, even if it's meant to be descriptive name calling, that highlights a certain thing. that will always be the primary focus in an argument. You see, if you're trying to reform a people, it'll be harder because people say, "Well, he called me this, she called me this," and you see it consistently.
Right.
But the word teva, as for the context of what they're saying, is they're defining it. I think it's more so about non-African Americans, primarily black. I would say, who go to America and look at or blend into American society, but use their visibleness of blackness to undermine African Americans. So examples would be going in Parliament and saying, "I'm black. I don't think you should have reparations. I'm black, and you need." I need to pop your bootstraps. So this was stuff I was aware of, and we had discussions about this, and it causes much anxiety. But one solution I think some people think of dealing with it is to they call delineation, where they want to delineate to be clear, like they reform African American into American descendants of slaves, or foundational Black Americans, or freedmen's, or I think soul. There's some other words. My memory is not as good as it once was. So I've heard these things, and this is to form a new understanding of an ethnicity, so it's separate from other blacks. So you can say that this person here is a descendant of enslaved people in the land of America. So when it comes to going to government and stuff, it's like, what are you doing for those people, and not just the black people? So that was the argument. I think amongst that argument, this is what this gentleman talked about when he uses that kind of terminology.
Them off, telling them that they're fake. He was just really aggressive towards them. And, you know, these men have created so much black division. So why does he need to be in the UK?
So in context, him and Farrakhan are the only two that I'm aware of who preached about black power or something, who were banned from the UK. And that's very interesting when you get people from other countries being banned from the UK for talking about black betterment or black empowerment or whatever it might be. And so he's one of them.
Ethnicities is banned.
Yeah, he was banned quite early, like around about, I can't remember the dates, but it was after a couple of his documentaries came out. But and this is what I was talking about, and this bleeds into the Speaker's Corner people as well, where there's people in the black, in the black empowerment community, where they'll have two faces, right? And I mean this in the nicest way. What I mean is they'll have a professional TV appearance and how they present information very professionally, and then they'll have their personal time, Instagram, YouTube thing where they're just dissing each other. And this was very common in the YouTube, well, not YouTube, in the Speaker's Corner, right? They're more so doing that to us. But where it's like they have a very comfortable insulting and dissing and back and forth and their name calling and this kind of stuff. And the things when you do it online, it escalates, and then people will say that is what you're about. This is why I say do not use strong language or do not use name calling, because it will be the primary of the argument. So this gentleman, I understand what he's saying. I say he's correct in his displeasement, but what I suspect he's going to do, he's always going to speak about the name calling and the disrespect. There will no conversation about why someone is doing something, or should they be doing that, or what was misunderstood or what was understood. It's more so a name was called and it was hurtful, right? And that's I'm not saying that people, adults can be adults, but I'm just saying that from a strategic standpoint, when you're talking about black empowerment stuff, I would try to stray away from name calling and these kind of things, because it will become the center of conversation.
That's right.
And any of you man that are trying to bring him to the UK are weirdos. You weirdos, because why are you?
She's a name call, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
You're bringing this dude into the UK that was dissing our people. It should be a no-fly zone. When we talk about no-fly zone, this is when it should be a no-fly zone. It took the Home Office to block him from coming. So if the Home Office didn't block him, you man would have really brought him back here with all the division that he's caused. This is what I'm trying to say.
That's why it's very important that we discuss divisions and so-called divisions and actual divisions that's going on, and have codified. I think what the approach I would have is to have honest conversations about what motivates. So for example, one thing I'm always going to step forward, and I'm very clear on, right? I'm well aware of people who make money on the internet have a routine that if all consistently do, right? And that is find ways to have high clicking videos to keep generating, right?
That's right.
Most of these gentlemen who are doing this stuff, when you go on their page, a lot of the stuff they're doing that they post will be of like conflict between them, arguments between one another. Yeah, and then name calling and pictures of pictures and thumbnails of the person they're making fun of and this kind of stuff, right? And this is high engagement. It seems like much higher engagement than most other things. So amongst all this is where you get this kind of like this argument, right? And I can't fault the brother. Like he's heard disrespect. He understands that the brother's being banned. Why are you trying to reverse the banning? Let that go. Is what he's saying.
This is why we look weak in the UK. This is why we look weak in the UK. Imagine this man has spent 3-4 years just targeting us, just calling us tethers, even on our.
Just any African Americans or Foundation for Black Americans or Freedmen Americans and stuff. Feel free to jump in because I would like to discuss this topic. I think, unfortunately, most brothers here and there, when we discuss this topic here about name calling you're not, things that people are doing in the diaspora or doing in America, doing in the UK, or doing over live and chats and TikTok and this kind of stuff, it usually becomes a high anxiety fest. And I think the way to actually get through it really is to put Black Betterment as the primary, as in that we're trying to in solution-based stuff, but also have a listening corner. So I've already done the listening. I've been in many to listen to what the complaints were. So what I do is I remove all the name calling from both sides. I remove the name calling and I listen to the arguments first. And then we try to understand, like, was there a legitimate reason for doing these activities, right? And then once we can get yay, nay, hey, way in that, then we can bring in, okay, name calling. Now, the unique thing here, and this is just me, I've been in meetings here, right? In England and talking about, getting people together to do constructive community work and helping kids and drugs and all that good stuff, right? And one of the positions that I'm usually given is the code person who writes the code of conduct. And I always get much pushback on when I say that, well, maybe when we're operating on social or we're actually in public or on TV, whatever, we shouldn't name call or use derogatory language. And this was like, oh no, this is craziness. This is you're living in a bygone time.
Right.
Time. And I was like, I'm not saying you can't do it in your personal life or to your friends, when you play video games, whatever. But I'm just saying that if you're trying to conduct it in an industry or trying to make an institution, and you're representing that, and you're wearing your uniform, whatever, maybe not to derogatory language and use name calling and whatever. And the only time I've ever seen progress in people who really want to name call is when YouTube and TikTok started blocking monetary gains for people who use strong language. Then I started seeing no swear words were coming. Like when you impact the money of the person, no swear words. People who use certain terms like it was, like it was stuck to their tongue, found new words to use when the money stopped.
Right. The money stopped.
Yeah. So this is what we did say at one strategy of how to improve the Black community is set up certain funding that funds Black people do constructive things. And if they don't follow certain rules, you stop the funding, and the chances are they will do it. And that is one of the advantages non-Black people or the white supremacists have over Black people, that many Black people are working for non-Black people. So any rules that they enforce, they can enforce with actual payment. It's like, a Black person, if you don't do this, we're not going to pay you, right?
Yeah.
So then the Black person will then follow the rules. And maybe this is a rule that Black people can have when it comes to running institutions, about repeat behavior patterns that causes longevity kind of conversation that don't really go nowhere and everyone has high anxiety, whatever. So let's try to listen.
Our channel just got man calling us tethers, disrespecting the African man, them disrespecting all Black people.
So what this brother says is correct. Yeah, there is very much disrespect from Brother Tariq Rashid as well as other in his corner. What I would say though is, from what I see, they are responding as kind, right? It is a response to a name calling, whatever. Now, one thing I would say, the solution to this is, regardless of what ethnic, this is why I will push forward, regardless of what ethnic group you belong to in the Black community, you must split it into two, and that's error prone and high principle, right? So you're always gonna have error prone Black people who do problematic behavioral speeches, right? But the thing is to not actually try to tarnish the entire group of that. Where I think the brothers in America or who are saying this would argue in their case is they're saying that by them saying tether, they are actually separating Africans from what they define as tethers, and they would argue that they have words like coons, and which I don't agree with, and pickaninny, all these kind of whatever terms that they're using now, that they use usually exclusively for African Americans who behave in an error-prone way to sabotage progress. So what they're saying is we have unique terms given to, and then the Africans will say that, well, we have unique terms given to African Americans. Akata was one. I'm saying some of these wrong. I haven't written it down, so I can't remember. It depends on where they're from. Apparently there's terms to describe badly behaving African Americans or whatever it is. So this is what, once again, this, regardless of what people want to do or don't do, the principal concept is if you don't name call, this won't be a discussion. I know it's harder to do because sometimes you live amongst your children, your parents, your wives, and so forth. And swearing is second nature. If you don't swear, you can't sleep at night. This kind of stuff. But once again, it becomes an issue when you're trying to do constructive work because you affect people's feelings, and in the black community, people's feelings mean a lot. You see.
Put around the world. He don't need to come back to the UK. So Home Office, they made the right decision there. And look, if you don't like Express Truth for the things we're saying, just don't follow us, bro. It's simple.
I think maybe the brother said that because maybe there was pushback. I don't think there will be pushback. I think many people would agree with him. I haven't really seen. I mean, Tariq Nasheed and Umar Johnson. These are two people in America who've had ups and downs in their social media, like outbreaks and fans and stuff, who have quite a very high impact on the social world of black people, hashtags and even political connections, but influence, I would say, right? And if you go into like videos that come up and then certain things are said, not said, you can see the legacy of people like Umar Johnson and Tariq Nasheed in the words people use to describe something that's happening in the video. So they definitely have reach and impact. And obviously one of those reaches is this impact is this, and we'll play some of that later. I've got some here, I'll find some. But let's carry this, bro.
Don't follow us, fam.
Big up everyone. Big up EEB. Big up Ebbs. Big up brother Dominic in the house. Big up everyone in the background, and big up brother IC3's on the panel. Everyone, you can jump in of the things there if you wish to click on it. It's not pinned. Let me see if I can pin it as well. Feel free to jump in. We're looking at a topic today. We just passed the Senegal football fiasco. We're looking at black ethnicities in social conflict. So, and we're using Tariq Nasheed as a case study because he's very famous for creating, YouTube videos of mocking people in cussing matches and getting clicks with that kind of stuff. And this gentleman isn't best pleased with it.
Just unfollow. Do what works for you, fam. It should be a no-fly zone for Tariq Nasheed. He started all that FBA nonsense. It should be a no-fly zone. I'm seconding that because he disrespected our people. There's no way. Do you think a Chinese man would let him go there? Do you think a Chinese man would let him go there if he was doing that disrespect towards them? Nah, man. Things have to change, people. If we have to be the change, then that's what it is.
I would definitely like to talk to African Americans who engage in this back and forth to really explain what's going on more and for us to get a more constructive back and forth. It's a small group, but a very influential group. And from what I'm aware, they're not best pleased with some of the behavior patterns of some of the brothers and sisters who go to America. And obviously online it spills out and stuff. I've got some videos of, I don't know the nature of these videos. I download them because of the time start. And also I want to jump onto the sister called Lynn May. She went on to the Winners Podcast, it's called. And she was talking about some stuff that sounded quite interesting. So I wanted to cover that as well. It was about black economics and black road men, quote unquote, and this kind of stuff. She's she's another controversial person. We could cover the controversial stuff she's done. But on certain areas, she's like 50-50 in the sense of she is correct with her analysis, but her, from what we can see, her approach to it needs reviewing from my humble opinion. But let's see. Hold on. The same. Let's see what this is called. Crash it. Okay. So yeah. So there's going to be some swear words. So this is Tariq Nasheed. Now this is how he handles European. So there's a consistent theme of him going onto the internet, just having cussing matches, and anyone who makes fun of anything he's doing, he just goes off on one. If there's any bad language, forgive this. This is a case study, right? And so once again, since AI has come in, it's been a lot of the social media with people's secret weapon of how to decorate people to look them unflattering when they say things you don't like. And a lot of this will be going on towards ethnic groups of making, picture nails or picture thumbs of this and that and the third, whatever, right? Give me 5 seconds. Cool, excellent. Let's press play.
Yo,
There's any swear words or apologies. It's late at night, but it's just once again, they don't follow the code of conduct.
baby daddy, somebody said your baby daddy something. Your baby daddy to be.
This is the case because the gentleman that's been banned in the UK who's made a whole lot of documentaries that are very constructive. I recommend watching them. And he also did one of the first of the Haitian Revolution one, which was very constructive. But since then, after whatever, there's been much back and forth between himself and what he defines as tethers, and obviously, and there's been some strong language used that people are not best pleased with. And what I'm trying to show is this behavior he's doing here is very similar to what a lot of the people who I used to discuss would do on Speaker's Corner social media. As in, like, diss people, put it online, and then troll them.
What's up, Tariq? How are you? Can I just ask you a question? If you had to go in front of a judge and present to them how you're a foundational Black American, what evidence would you give?
Basically, census forms, everything. All of our documents is very well documented. Ancestry forms, birth certificates, death records of my family. It's real simple.
I got you. So, because I need to prove that I'm a foundational Black American.
So what I suspect this is a European, and this is another thing with these social media stuff. This would be actually into a second topic that I think is very crucial, and it actually is connected to another topic, which is why you should be on code, and that is when Black ethnic groups are fighting online, there are non-Black groups who understand there's much money and clicks in that kind of wave, right? The algorithm. So they will pretend to be African or pretend to be African American or British, Black British or whatever, just because either for trolling reasons or to get clicks and stuff like that, or gather people to their page or whatever it might be, right? And I think they suspect that this is what this gentleman is doing.
But nowhere on my DNA test does it say I'm a foundational Black American.
Your DNA test? Well, your DNA test, it gives a lot of generic information from like Africa, Europe, and Asia. So it won't be on a DNA test. Just like Native, that's why with Native American tribes, they don't let you do DNA tests for Native American tribes. It's strictly lineage and paperwork. You got to have a long line of continuous paperwork documenting family and things like that. You just can't come in with a DNA test because that's not as accurate as it should be. Now where are you from?
I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and
you sound like a white dude. Hop on camera. Let's see what's going on with you. Are you white?
Are you white dude? I'm actually laying in bed, but I'm a Black American, and I just learned about this foundational Black American thing, and people are asking me to prove it, and I have no clue how to do it. So you're saying to go back to my ancestor report?
Yeah, your parents' birth certificates and your death certificates. Do you have those?
No, I don't. But how far do I have to go back? Somebody said the 1860s.
Yeah, but if you can trace your stuff back to the 1860 census, then you're generally a foundational Black American. You're a descendant of freedmen. Right?
But I don't even have my own parents' birth certificates. Like they don't have them, let alone my 3-4 generations ago.
Right, because you sound like you might be white.
Wait, what? Just because I don't get that. I'm trying to figure out how I prove I'm a foundational Black American.
Sounds like you might be white, sir.
Because let's face it, it's a fucking
forgive the language
scam. You're
you bitch. Not you, Mayo Man. That's why you're mad and you're smelling like sulfur.
In all seriousness.
Yeah, you're mad and smelling like sulfur.
What I'm showing you is we assume a European man pretending to be Black American or foundation Black American and come to the Tariq Nasheed station or show, whatever it is. And now they diss each other. And the same way he disses everyone else is how he disses, right? This is what happens. So, but this is a very normal thing to do in certain societies, especially in the Speaker's Corner world, where you just, everything goes, everyone's shouting each other, whatever. I would recommend it. But once again, it also generates a lot of interest and revenue this whole kind of back and forth trolling, fighting stuff.
All right, yeah, you don't get to dictate nothing here. Boy, he crashed out real fast, didn't he? He thought he could get by. Yeah, the minute he say you don't have no documents, this is a white man. You know why I know? Well, why am I like? Because black people, we are paperwork people. Black people got documents. I know our people. I want y'all to understand, when he said they ain't got no documents, this is a damn white man. We keep documents, all right? Foundational Black Americans keep documents. We got documents, photographs. You go to somebody's grandma's house, you look under that mattress. We keep documents and records, all right? That's one thing we do as a culture. That's why I knew he wasn't no damn. I already knew this is a damn mayo-encrusted, sulfur-smelling cracker. All right, then he crashed out. He crashed right on out. See, this delineation, it's tearing a lot of people up. This delineation is tearing people up. It's tearing up tethers. It's tearing up.
There's a word to tell them. Remember what the gentleman was saying before in the last video?
The YT supremacists. Why?
Notice that he said YT supremacists. I think on the platform he's on, they don't let you say white anymore. So now I've noticed that everyone has to change how they say white to YT and stuff. So this is what I'm saying about when you attack someone's money, it'll make them attack their language as well. So that's just a good case study to do. And for black people, if you wanted to control language, money might be a good way of doing it.
Why are the YT supremacists crashing out? Because of us delineating. Because now we've made their tools of infiltration ineffective. This is why they're crashing out. The white supremacists, they know how to get the Candace Owens and the Tether class to use them as tools against us. Now that's not.
So there's the claim. The claim is that there are people who come from other backgrounds who are black, who for whatever reason are siding with white supremacists, and by making things just about your descent of enslaved black Americans, that technique ain't gonna work as well. That's the claim.
Feasible no more. That doesn't work. Oh, they're mad. Oh, they are mad. And also, we're claiming the land. You see, we're not sitting up here letting these people redefine us as guests in our own homeland. We are claiming our own land. This is our homeland. So the jig is up. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to do, ladies and gentlemen. This delineation movement is whooping them. All right. Enzo. Let's get Enzo. Hop on.
All right. So let's see what this person says. Then we'll jump to something else. And then I'm going to jump to another topic.
On in, Enzo. Enzo had a question. Oh, I love delineation. Delineation got people skipping. Enzo, what's up, Enzo?
Big up, brother. Actually, if he came in, he's just going to do another project. Big up the brother.
Enzo.
What up? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hop on cam, Enzo.
We'll leave that. We'll go on.
Somebody said your baby daddy something.
What is that? Just for me. Let's see if there was also. So that's him talking to a European gentleman, allegedly, whatever. And here's him arguing with. What's that? Hold on. So this is the argument. This is also some of the things that he covered. This is what. So rather than name calling, and is understanding what is happening. So we covered this lady who went on TV and made fun of African American men. She's from Haiti. This
I did. Huh? What?
So when sisters like this go and they do that, then they make like content heavy for all the people who have issues here and there. And like this sister, I'll show you.
I'm Haitian. Why? Where you from? What's your background? You American? Dirty black American?
Wait, what?
Huh? What?
Wait, what you
American?
say?
Black American? What?
No. Hold on. You said dirty black American.
You heard that? You just asked me what I said. I did.
Why you say that?
Because that's what y'all are. Dirty Black American.
She just said that?
I did. A dirty Black American. I sure did. Because that's what y'all are.
Just chill out on that dirty Black American comment. That's all. Like,
I'm sorry. You really took offense to that. I apologize.
anybody would take offense to that.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't.
Why you said that though?
Why you? I'm saying, why would you even fix your lips to say that though? I'm confused.
Because that's just my experience. Like,
Bruh.
it's my experience, so I'm gonna speak on it. But I apologize.
It's your experience?
Yeah, so I apologize.
What experience you had?
If I offended you.
You accept the apology?
No.
How? Like, that's super disrespectful. Like,
She did say it's dirty Black Haitians too, though.
Nah, she wouldn't. I would never fix my lips to say. And I know some dirty Black Haitians. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would never fix my lips to say dirty Black. I wouldn't generalize. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and now it is, bro. That's that Caribbean.
It's not.
And this is why we be having the diaspora wars.
Speaking of that, did y'all see this clip? There's a clip of this Haitian chick, this Haitian immigrant. She was on the Daily Wrap-Up show. Did y'all see this clip? She got on this podcast and started crapping on Black Americans. See, these people do these unsolicited crappings on us just out the blue. I know y'all seen the clip. So yeah, this Haitian woman, this light-skinned Haitian woman, she came in and they asked her, is she Haitian or something like that? And then she was like, well, yeah. What'd she say? She was like, yeah, I'm not a dirty Black American. And the guy was like, what? Yeah, you know, I ain't no dirty Black American. She said, start talking about dirty Black Americans, just out the blue. And the Daily Wrap-Up guys, I know those guys. I've been on their show before. So those are my guys. I'm cool with those guys. So those guys, you know, some of them are FBA. Yeah, some of those guys are FBA. I'm thinking she didn't know that. I think she went in there thinking that they were immigrants too. Because when I went on the show, I thought all of them were immigrants myself. I thought they were immigrants. I thought they were like Caribbean. Because in New York, you got a lot of Caribbean cats. So when I went up there, I thought they might have been Caribbean. But they were like, you know, some of those, they were telling me they're FBA. I said, oh, okay. But yeah, she up there talking about dirty Black Americans and everybody, and it went viral. You know, like a Haitian, a Haitian calling somebody dirty. That's where everybody's tripping. Like, what really? Shout out to Haitians, but come on. Yeah.
So this is what they're talking about, this kind of content, right? And everyone's going to say there's a back and forth on different one. I'll play one more video before we move to the next one, and that is him talking to a guy from Angola who was debating something. I can't remember this chick. The same. Is it this one? Let's see. We're covering there's a gentleman called Black Ethnicities. He makes Black documentaries. He does, and he's been banned from England. He's one of the few been banned from England. And there's a brother who says, "Don't unban him because he goes online and has a big arguments with Africans and Caribbeans, and it's disrespectful." And I'm trying to show the history of where it comes from and how to approach these topics and how to try to minimize. Obviously, the primary thing is not to name call, but no one will listen to that because name calling gets lots of money, and it's how many people culturally, communicate. It seems nowadays. So just saying don't use name calling would almost be impossible. But you'll see that where name calling seems to get us here about this kind of movement.
Yeah, no.
We don't do that. So
I want to start off with a question.
Yeah.
So this is Tariq Nasheed, and I think an Angolan who might be, I assume right wing, could be wrong. Angolan, born in America, moved to America. I'm not too sure.
Go ahead. What's your question?
Why is it that whenever we see whites engaging, because I just want to cross-reference, whenever I see whites engaging, white Americans, whether their grandparents came here on a ship, like for example, Donald Trump's family, or any white Americans, they don't have this sort of fight with, well, I'm a heritage American, because the majority of them, like white Americans, are not heritage Americans, but the heritage Americans never fight with the ones who arrived in the 1940s or 30s. They never fight over it. They see themselves as the same, like not only the race, but They've assimilated. They don't have an accent anymore, and they're just like, they see themselves as the same, and we see them as the same. But when we deal with the Black community, then there was the whole fighting over, you're a tether. Well, I think you're African. When did you come here? Did you come here in the 40s, 30s, 20s? White Americans disproportionately voted for Donald Trump. And none of them questioned, well, hey, your grandfather came from Germany in the early 1900s. No one heard about that stuff. No one cared because they see themselves as the same. So why are you stoking this nonsense division over, well, I mean, I'm not a continental African. I mean, I saw you in Senegal, man. You look just like everyone else there.
Oh, no. So you know good and well that wasn't true. They know I wasn't. All right, let's not go there. And shout out to Senegal. I don't look nothing like anybody there, and they knew it. I stood out like a sore thumb. But to what you're saying, it's not correct, because when some of those other immigrant groups would come to America, many of them were marginalized initially, and they had to earn themselves into whiteness. The Irish were not initially white. They had to earn themselves into whiteness. The Italians were not initially white. They were called Guineas. That was another term for a Black person. And that was the whole narrative about Italians, that they were really mulattoes. But later on down the line, they let them assimilate into whiteness. Same thing with Greeks. They let them assimilate into whiteness. This is why they would have little enclaves of their ethnic towns. In Detroit, they have Greek Town. They had, I think they got a Greek town in Philly, my Philly guys, if I'm not mistaken. So they would have their own little Italy here. They would have their little ethnic enclaves, and they would beef in certain instances. So later on, they would haze them. They would put them into a hazing process and let them earn themselves into whiteness. They're doing that with Hispanics now. They're letting them ease themselves into whiteness. Same thing. They always do this with certain groups who can blend into whiteness later. Now, some of the Hispanics, they're getting tossed out with ICE and all of that right now. So they're going through a little hazing process. So they absolutely do delineate when it comes to the dominant white society. They are very particular about who they let into whiteness. So we as foundational Black Americans, we've had an open door policy as it relates not just to Blackness, but as minorities. We would just let any minority come around and act as a spokesperson. We had to cut that off because we saw that these people who are not of our lineage don't have our interest at hand.
So there's the claim. The claim was that many Africans, Caribbeans who would look African American, I guess, would have ulterior motives. That's the claim. So regardless of the claim is right or not or whatever, this is what's causing this. That's why the case study is important, to see what is causing confusion and stuff.
So we had to start checking people and start looking at our lineage and looking at what we've contributed to this country as the foundation population of this country, and realize that we are different, and some of these other groups do not have our best interests, and we don't need them as our spokespersons. We're not trying to harm them. We're not trying to undermine them, but we just don't need everybody trying to speak for us, especially people who are immigrated from Angola and freshly to America.
Let's go over one thing though, because you did mention the fact that Irish Americans and Italian Americans had to become acclimated, right? They had to acclimate into America. They had to assimilate, but there was never a fight over lineage. They never said, well, actually, Irish Americans, you have a different lineage than we do. The fight was over culture. You know, the whole meme where there was the Italian guy who was interviewed and he says, what murder, right? That's what he says, because they have that sort of in-group preference and, culture where they protect each other and they love each other, right? But the is they never fight over lineage. Their whole thing is assimilation. And the Italians have assimilated. The Irish have assimilated. The thing is when the Italians first got here, they were, committing a crazy amount of crime. We had the whole mob, but they eventually assimilated. The fight was never about lineage.
What's interesting about this gentleman, and it might lead into the topic after as well, is so it seems that you would assume that this gentleman here, he's found that Tariq and some of the others are trying to delineate, as they say, from other Black people and make it be known that they have a unique ethnic group that is centered in American foundation ideology and stuff like that. And you would think that what he's trying to do is like, well, you know, we're all one, we're all brothers and stuff. But I don't think that's what he's trying to do. It seems like, I think, and I find it interesting because I think one of his goals is to actually just mock black people generally. I suspect that he's not really a part of any kind of black empowerment concept, and he's probably more aligned to like anti-black kind of concepts, right? But yet he will be offended by the concept of black people defining themselves ethnically and stuff. I don't, and that's interesting. I need to really study that, like why someone would even care if that's the way they sit.
Whether or not the Italians were foundational or heritage, the fight was over assimilation and acclimation, and they did that.
Let's address that. It was completely about lineage. They were lineage-based big time, especially the Italians. You want to talk about lineage? The Italians are so strong about lineage. This is why, in order to be a made man in the mafia, your lineage has to go back to Sicily and Italy. That's why you look at the movie Goodfellas. The one guy, he was mixed. He was like half Irish or something like that, and he couldn't become a made man because he didn't have the right lineage.
I'm talking about Irish and white Americans, right? I'm talking about them. They never fought over that. Like if you like you cannot find me a single article or any debate between a so-called heritage American and an Irish over the fact that the Irish is not heritage American. You'd find different. They have different food.
Oh, so I guess maybe the argument is he's from Angola and he wants to be viewed as a heritage black American. I'm assuming that this gentleman here.
Foods in Italy, and especially people from Sicily as well. They may have different cultures, accents.
Well, you got to read between the lines, because I can always tell by the way people present stuff what kind of ideology they push towards, or what they might think about black unity and stuff. I suspect this gentleman isn't really aligned to any kind of black Betterment.
You have to learn a new language. All of that is understandable because that's basic assimilation. But there was never a fight over that. I mean, find me the white Americans today, because the heritage Americans are the minority of whites, but find me the heritage Americans that are white today fighting anyone, fighting the white South Africans. You see the white South Africans that are, Trump has approved
like
their refugee aside. Right. No one is going to fight them. Bet me on that. No one will fight the white South Africans that are coming here.
They're insignificant. There's only 50 of them. Nobody cares about them. White society don't care about them.
It was 5,000, but no one would care.
But let me tell you something. Hispanics are classified as white, and white people are not letting them move into their neighborhoods like that. So they do care about lineage.
Well, they're not white. Hispanics aren't white.
They are. Yes, they are. On paper, they are. Yes, they are.
Yeah, but on paper means nothing, dude. They're not white.
Black Zanzu, black is a racist term. Yeah, that can be pushed forward. It came from racism. We always put the star next to black because we understand that some people feel that way. So it could be synonymous with some people, original people, or the ABC community, and that's African Black connected community. But we understand that.
That means everything. That's what makes you white. The paperwork. There's no genetic white people. What's a genetic white person? It moves. The goalpost moves every 20 years.
I was responding to a comment in the group. Not what they were saying, but there's a comment in the
What's a genetic white person?
I don't know. The census doesn't count Hispanics as white. I mean, you can you can select.
They do.
There specifically is a section for or an option for
they are
Hispanic.
Classified as white. Yes, they are. Yes,
maybe some Hispanics are very white. Right?
Yeah,
some Hispanics are, but the majority
of
them no.
Even the darker ones classify themselves as white. Look at the stats in Puerto Rico.
Very rarely, but there's an option for Hispanic.
It's not rare, sir. No. Most of them.
Very rarely. That's objectively true.
Enrique from the Proud Boys. We saw his documents. Because when you get arrested, you can see your classification. He's classified as white, and he's a so-called Afro-Latino or Afro-Cuban.
Right.
But on paper,
he's not white.
He's classified as white on paper.
I see a lot of black people classified as white on paper as well, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of these people, especially from East Africa, they are technically Caucasian based on paperwork. So yeah, the whiteness.
But paperwork doesn't matter. I mean,
it does to a certain degree.
Not really.
It does to a certain degree because then a mindset comes with that. A mindset comes with it. And if these people are classified as white, they come to us with a white supremacist mindset. And that's the issue.
you talk a lot about white supremacy. This is very interesting because some of you guys, I saw a video where you were talking about an African immigrant who was arrested and there was a mugshot and you were like, he doesn't look like he's from our lineage. You talk about white supremacy, yet the reason why you don't look as dark as he does, or you don't have the Western African phenotype to the purest of extent, is because you have more European admixture because your ancestors were raped. So are you flexing that your ancestors were raped, therefore you have more European admixture?
You are from Angola. Those Portuguese was over there.
Can you answer my question?
No, I'm answering it now. You talk about graping.
So once again, look at the conversation. Look where it's going to go and how they back and forth and how it got there. Very important.
They were tearing up the women and the dudes over there.
I agree. They were.
Right, yeah. So you shouldn't wag your finger. They were really creating the Lancados, and they had a whole racial cast over there who were the mixed breed the
happened to both of us. We agree
for the slave trade. Yeah, some of those Lancados over there.
You look pretty light.
Yeah, they were some of the ones out here getting people from Central Africa, taking them to the coast. They were some big old Sambos over there.
I agree.
But we just have a different phenotype.
Why?
Because of the intermixing here. Yeah, we were assaulted, and we also mixed in with the Aboriginal population here. Also, geography. We're not as close as to the equator as the people over there. So there's a lot of things.
We're looking at black ethnics in social conflict. We're looking at ethnic tensions between black ethnic groups and how to find solutions and what might trigger certain past challenges. And we're looking at Creighton Shield as a case study because he's actually banned from the UK. One gentleman, they was talking about you shouldn't lift the ban because he is part of an ongoing argument between African Caribbeans and African Americans on social media and network where name calling is being used to describe people's lineage or background or face, all this kind of stuff.
Things that contribute.
No, the geography means little because it's only been 500 years. It hasn't been too long yet.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, 500 years ago, there was no such thing as a Latino or a Mexican or a Puerto Rican. So whole different races has popped up since 500 years, sir.
Well, those aren't races; those are ethnicities. But again, I mean.
Same thing.
No, ethnicity and race are different. Like, for example, let's give you an example, right? The Tutsi population and Hutu population in Rwanda, they're both black, but they're different ethnicities. They're different tribes, right? Same thing with Yoruba and Igbo. Same race, but different tribes. So tribe and ethnicity, tribe and race are different. But again, the point still stands. I mean, if you are going around and saying, well, guys, look, I look a little bit more different than the West Africans because I have more European admixture. I have a significant European admixture as well, but I don't go around, saying, oh, this makes me cooler. I look, less West African. It's like, yeah, because your ancestors were raped. Mine, yours, so on and so forth. That happened. But it's not something we should go around, acting as if it's this big, cool thing.
We've never said that. The big, cool thing.
But you guys act like you're like, well, it doesn't look like he's from my lineage.
That's your insecurity, sir. The big, cool thing is that we survived.
You like whiteness.
No. The great thing is we survived sexual assault and slavery and became the global cultural population. So that's the flex, sir. You guys had the sexual assault and some of the other things, and y'all had to flee. So that's why we kind of flex a little bit. We had a different outcome based on the trauma because we've had the exact same trauma to a certain degree. Ours was a little bit different, but we've created a culture of resistance. We never made a deal with the white supremacists, unlike you.
Oh, that's not true. Come on.
Yeah, you guys made a deal. You're
This is the kind of arguments that happen on TikTok and this kind of stuff, just so the context. And it might be this calm but strong words or angry screaming. But it's around like this, and this kind of topics.
Your leaders over there, tribal leaders, signed all types of treaties, and you just welcome the subjugation. It's always been up. It's always been
Paul Cuff signed a deal, but okay.
Yeah. Who?
Paul Cuff. He worked with the American Colonization Society. I mean, he was a black man.
We talked about that. Most of us rejected that. Almost all.
I agree, but Paul Cuff was a black man.
Yeah, but we rejected him and that. Most of us rejected that. We didn't go along.
I'm saying you made some deals, but listen, I'm not going to take it away from
that's
you.
Not. He doesn't represent us though. So
okay, great. I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to take away from it.
Class. We have sample classes out there who don't represent us.
Sure.
Shout out to the great Harriet Tubman, who spoke out against the American Colonization Society, and she was talking lineage business. She was like, "Yeah, they're trying to send us to Africa, but we're too rooted here, and we're not going anywhere." So shout out to our Queen Mother Harriet Tubman.
I can't listen. I'm not here to undermine you guys. I have a lot of respect, actually.
You can't undermine us, sir, because you have fled from your homeland. You are a de facto refugee, so you can't undermine us. You don't have the power or the clout to undermine.
But let me ask you a question: who came here in more dignity? So I came here when I was 6 years old, right?
So can you see how these kind of back and forths become more? I don't like the term toxic. I was saying error prone, right? And I suspect the brother to the right doesn't have any kind of black ramifications of any kind, and the way he's going to take this conversation, I assume, will highlight that. And this is the nature of TikTok and where the arguments go, where you have two black ethnic groups arguing, and they're trying to find potholes in each other's culture to do that. Now, someone like Tariq Nasheed is a very, very well-versed, troll, as well as argument or disser or whatever. I don't know what the term would be used, right? And even though I don't agree with the direction it goes down, he isn't really crashing out with the language as much as I've seen people do on the stuff, right? But this guy, where he's taking it is where the arguments stem from. So let's listen.
My family, my ancestors specifically, they weren't brought here on a ship. They weren't told when to eat. They weren't thrown overboard. I came here with dignity.
So can you see how? Why would you present something like that? What is it that you're trying to achieve in this conversation? Because when you first started, it came across like, why are you delineating from other Africans? Why people see themselves as one white race? Why can't you see as one black race? But then when you go on to that and you bring up the history of the atrocities that's accrued by people in the diaspora and more so people in African America in this context, how would that gain any kind of unity? So obviously the brother didn't want to get unity, right? What I'm saying is this is the kind of arguments where you're seeing clips of videos of this kind of stuff and it's creating further blah 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 disagreements, and then this is why you're having videos people say don't unban him from coming to the country or don't stand for. I'm saying there should be a way to have a constructive conversation about what's going wrong and what the overall goal is, but you never really get there because of name calling and feelings.
I came here with respect. You guys
slow down. Let me slow down.
Dignity.
Being a descendant of slaves does not give one a monopoly for racial abuse. Does not give one a monopoly for racially abused youth. That's right. Whether you have descendant of enslaved person or a descendant of colonized people or just any kind of descendant, you shouldn't have any kind of like trump over mistreating anyone.
So is crapping on the street in your homeland dignifying?
That's what you would be doing if it wasn't for the white Europeans.
No, ain't no woulda, coulda, shoulda. We don't do that. No.
So what will happen now is you'll get two black ethnic guys dissing each other, and then one will start saying that the reason why we are not civilized as you is because you were trained by white people. That's way I can see where this goes. I'm not psychic. But...
No. We don't do that. No, we don't. Sir, you guys crap on you.
You see Detroit?
Sir, no, ain't nobody crapping. Yeah, my family's in Detroit. They're doing well. Nobody's crapping in the streets in Detroit, sir. You guys
doesn't look too good over there.
You guys have to wipe your ass with shea butter leaves in your homeland. Is that dignified,
really?
Sir?
I never had to do that.
Yeah, because you had to flee. You fled. We saved you. You over here.
No, even when I was there, I never had to do that.
No. Yeah, because we saved you. You had to come over here among the foundational Black Americans so that you would not be wiping that ass with.
Can we clarify something? Because you guys always talk about, bush meat and, you have to wipe your ass and all this sort of stuff.
Right.
The reason why you aren't eating bush meat is not because you're of a different lineage. The reason why you aren't eating bush meat is because this country was 90-something% white, and you have been subsidized by the whites. The whites have been subsidizing you and helping you and giving you all these different programs in Section 8.
Like what?
That's why you aren't eating bush meat. Not because you're superior.
Sir, we've always had to get it out the mud. We've known how to take care of ourselves, sir. You guys have to rely
No, you
on
don't.
Red Cross. You guys have to rely on Red Cross rice and Red Cross grain. We don't do all that. We know how to take care of each other. We've always taken care of each other, sir. As foundational Black Americans, we've always known how to get it out the mud. These people have worked against us. They've destroyed some of our prosperous business districts, and we had to rebuild over and over again. We didn't flee like you guys did. You guys get a couple of setbacks and y'all have to flee all over the world, sir. That's different. So yeah, they're not subsidizing us. They're subsidizing you. No. They have to subsidize you while they pillage your homeland of all the resources. And
You guys can't even speak English.
And then you have to come over here up under us, sir. All right?
Hold on. Let me just say something real quickly. So 1526, that's when the foundational Black American, lineage starts, right?
1526 is when we first had resistance against the white supremacists on this land.
Okay, so 500 years that would be. So 500 years, you guys are still putting the is where the are should be. You guys can't even speak English. It's been 500 years. Where is you going? What is you doing? It's 500 years.
Well, you have to gravitate towards that because most of us don't talk like that. But even if we do,
you guys do. You guys do.
And let me tell you something. When we talk like that, we know how to code switch because the people who talk like that, they can code switch, sir. You can't code switch hunger and famine, sir. That's part of your culture. That's
you guys
part
can't
of
even
who
speak
you are.
English. It's
You
500 years.
No. You have to run over here to us who's speaking like that so you can be safe and you can eat, sir. Because, you tired of the monkey McNuggets over there in your failed homeland, sir.
You guys can't speak English.
Yeah. So is you running? Is you fleeing? We can say that. Is you eating bush meat? We can say that.
Listen, brother.
All right.
This is the thing with the FBI movement. You guys have a lot more to worry about.
No, we're good.
Your children can't read.
We don't, sir.
They're sagging their pants in the streets.
Sir, y'all don't have schools out there like that, sir. You guys that's why you here. You
guys can't read.
Yeah, we can read. We can read good enough not to flee. All right. We ain't fleeing. We can read good enough to stay here and chill. We're not eating Red Cross rice and
whites are here.
No.
We're just showing you how black ethnic groups argue. This is like this gets a lot of ticks and laughs and whatever. But what you tend to find is when and they're the same when two black people fight, a white man walks off the land, something like that. It was some saying that something I can't remember what. But once again, you notice that the gentleman on the right is using proximity to whiteness as a one up, I guess, in an argument and stuff. I would recommend that no one engages in arguments with African Americans about this kind of stuff. But I know it won't happen. I know every week there'll be billions of videos of people jumping into just that. We're going to stop in a bit when we're going to go to one more side topic. And it might be slightly connected with, there's a sister called Lynn May, and she might be connected in the sense of she's quite polarizing in the UK for going to TV shows and I guess speaking down on black people. They would say, you would say that and she was on some women's podcast and she said some interesting things I wanted to cover as well. But listen to one more minute, this and we'll jump on.
You can try to get problems.
Whites are here.
White mommy and white daddy. No, we get them out of our business. We try to avoid them. We don't have them in our business, sir. We're not like you. We're not dependent like that. We're not like you, sir. Sir, listen, look at me. Look, I want you to listen to something. Look at me for a second. I'm very successful at what I do. I don't get a dime, no corporate money, nothing. I have best-selling movies, best-selling lectures, so many things. Not a dime from the corporate sector. I'm an example of that. Everything you get, you had to suck up to the alt-right. I mean, everything about you is fail. Y'all been doing that fail routine for the last 600 years, and you're fleeing all over the world. You haven't learned that doesn't work. Sucking up to these white supremacists, that's been a detriment to you. And this is why we delineate from you, because we know that you have a white worshiping mindset, and we can't do anything with you, right?
Let's clarify something else, actually, if I'm able to speak. You guys talk about proximity to whiteness. Then why is it that you fought for proximity to whiteness? You fought for desegregation. You fought so that you could go to their neighborhood, so that you could go to their schools, right? So that you could be under the guide of their teachers. You fought for proximity of whiteness to whiteness, sir. You fought for it.
Okay. What we were fighting in the civil rights movement, and it started with the Board of Education thing. What we were fighting for was equal resources to our schools. We wanted equal resources. We were fighting for equal resources because our schools were being underfunded and we were being taxed.
We'll leave it there. So we gave a case study of what the general was talking about bickering amongst diaspora and ethnicity, black ethnic groups. And yeah, and this is just one video amongst millions that's going to be circulating or whatever. But this is what's causing the tension, or this is what the tension is about, or whatever. There you go. Let's see if I got one. We're now going to go to. It's not really a topic. Well, it was. I wanted to see what the sister said because she said something about economics and roadmen. But I don't know if I've got the right video. So let me see. Hold on.
Even the hardest of roadmen, like when they're older, you're embarrassed. If I take you.
So let's listen to what she says about roadmen.
Like when they're older, you're embarrassed. If I take you out to a function and someone says of a credible character, what is it that you do? Do you know what they say? Bit of this, bit of that. You don't want to say.
That can't work. I remember. A man has to know what he's doing in life. You need some kind of profession. All that bit of this, bit of that can't work.
So back to.
I'll tell you that. And I've been telling my guys that from back then.
And there's a lot of guys past 40 that's still trying to do bit of this, bit of that.
No, not as big men, you can't do that. But
no. So we'll get back to what we'll get back to it. But I still grew up in a certain area. I still had family members. Yes. I still had to go visit my cousin in prison. Mm-hmm. So by proximity, of course I'm going to have friends. Of course I'm going to go out. Yeah. Of course, we spoke about before, was not on the straight and narrow 100% years ago. Yes. So this whole idea, you used to be in the club with the guys. Yes, I did. But were they my man?
No one said they were your man.
And I'm not going to say I haven't dated and then realized, I went on a date once. He must have forgot to leave it in the car, but the burner phone rang. We didn't go on a second date. So this whole idea that podcasters are saying, you used to love us. No, I didn't. No, by proximity.
I didn't say you used to love. I didn't say you used to love us.
Okay, so
I said you like the guys. Lee.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
Like a lot of us are of a certain ilk and from a certain cloth, and you get on with us well, and we get on with you well.
And I'm still going to pull you lot up on it.
So
I'm still the people that I care about the most. That's why.
So what am I showing? I think this sister goes on shows and she's very harsh towards black community generally, and she's also harsh to the roadman and stuff, and I think. There's a value. There's a value in what she's saying about reform and trying to fix the community and stuff. I don't know if she's on the side of that. I don't know if she works towards that. These are just talking points for social reasons or whatever it is. But I do come across some of these people where they're like 50% on track, where it's like they want to reform people, so they say, who commit crimes and stuff, but they still they're probably saying it. I'm not saying this is doing that, but I'm just giving this example. But they're saying it from a high horse position rather than, you're in there with them trying to really understand and fix it. And I think that's where some of the contention comes from. But that's the real one. I think she mentioned something about black people not owning nothing, and I think I always want to focus on that because that's such a very important topic. Let's see if she said it.
Society, so the way how some of these podcasts say I tear people down. No, you tear people down because
I wouldn't say you tear people down.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just looking for
almost like the first era of transition. But anyway,
I'm just seeing like a runaway.
There's no training. There's no doing that. The next
father, but now we're doing the same thing. Do you know what I mean? So then the younger one.
Oh, this might be interesting. This is
millennial, right? Yeah. So a lot of people our age, similar age, said it's because of their father.
As a brother said, all she ever does is talk about problems, never solutions. She's actually a distraction in many ways. Yep, I hear that, brother. Yeah, she needs to focus on helping corporate-minded professional black people.
other. But now we're doing the same thing. Do you know what I mean? So then the younger ones are acting like hotfoots on the street because they're seeing their dad who have done the same, and then it's going to continue.
If they even see their dad.
So exactly. So the cycle. So this whole, that's all they know. And like, let me ask you a question then, because many people say, what choice? A lot of the people say, we don't have any other choice. We don't have no way of making money. We don't have, like, when you look at so many people.
No, I wouldn't say that now. They can say that then to a degree.
Okay. But
they can't say that
then
now.
or now, whatever. So many, and this is not for all, but from what I've seen and for who I've spoken to, you have certain Vietnamese people who have come here illegally with nothing, yeah?
Yes.
And I never hear.
This is a good point. Not since coming from a good angle, but it's a good point for us to bring up as black brothers and what you're trying to achieve, and you can reference other communities.
Them complain about representation. I never hear them say they have to sell drugs. I'm not saying they don't have their criminals. Let me just put that out there.
Shout out my Vietnamese people.
I'm not saying that.
So I think what this is saying is, now other communities who come and they don't complain about racism, having us do drugs, and whatever thing that she's saying that some black people do. And whether that's right or not right, my whole thing is, if someone is saying this, because I would say that what a caveat to add with this is, or a compliment to add with this is, yeah, because I'm happy to say black people are falling behind in all these things, but after that, it's like, now, but I promote black economics, black love, and black health, right, and black betterment generally, right. So that means I'm acknowledging that we might have shortcomings in all these areas, but as I'm communicating, I'm consistent with these concepts like group economics, loving black people, not mistreating black people publicly, not undermining progress, blah blah blah. And that's why I say that if you're going to mention these things, you have to also bring the solution with it, or the allyship that the standpoint you're on. That even though I can highlight these shortcomings, I'm with you, or I'm here to direct you, and not. It's a drive-by criticism. We're just in a car driving by, going, "You're rubbish," or "Do better."
We don't. But what I'm saying is
very true. Yeah, but they haven't had that, and that's true. They haven't had, and that's a double. That works both ways, from negative and positive, right? As in, they haven't had the history that black people have had. So that means they can never understand some of the choices that we make, or the choices that are not afforded to us. But also, that should strengthen why black people should actually focus within and not try to always reach out, or do things outside the community, marry outside the community, whatever. I really have a strong focus on fixing, because collectively black people have no friends.
They still have an ecosystem
where
they understand banking, business, finance.
Yes.
Very important you said that. She said Asians are treated, and this is something as well, and I'm gonna have some big discussion with people with one black parent. Well, this is someone who, she has I think one Asian parent and one black parent. I think one of the criticisms of her was she's very strong about black shortcomings, but she never ever mentions any Asian shortcomings, and she's never really. I don't see her jumping on when the Asian black issues were going by. I'm not too sure. So this was a criticism that I saw, and I've never actually ever seen her on an Asian show. Maybe because they come on, I don't watch them. But I have seen her in a lot of black shows, and she's a member, so of course. What it's interesting is she seems to be there really poo-pooing certain things within the black community. Not that she's necessarily doing that now. I'm just saying that from what I've seen. And but I've never really seen her on the Asian show at all. I don't know if they even let her in that kind of pie. I don't know. She'll have to let us know that.
The high street
even
of
if
shops.
they're doing something off the books, it's turning into a restaurant, it's turning into a shop. I hear you. There's an infrastructure.
And then this whole idea of like, they don't go out there and complain that the white man's not employing them, because they all employ each other. Have you ever gone
So I like half of what she's saying, because one thing she's saying is she's obviously referencing what she's saying with her complaint, and she's using alleged people who don't do that as if they can do it, I guess you can do it. So I don't know why you would word things in that way, but I think the overall goal, not that she's defined that, is for black people to hire black people and to practice black economics. I am for that. Well, that would be something that after you've critiqued the black people, I'll be like, you follow up with like, yes, why don't us as a community hire, each one teach one, get youth programs going and also psychological training concepts where we train black people the importance of black unity young, as an understanding why it's important that when you get skillful and older, you use that skill to try to better your community. I never really hear that. when I hear these strong criticisms of why black people are falling behind.
Nail shop and see a white person or black person.
No,
they.
You just said that you never see black people up in the shop. They cater for themselves.
Keep their group economics there.
So it'll be good to see if she can follow up and we can ask questions about what's her views on Black rhetoric. To see if she co-signs, like she's highlighting a shortcoming that black people have, and she's observed non-black people having some kind of unity program. Does she verbally support black people doing the same thing as well as physically actually do it herself? That'll be interesting.
Yeah. When you look at one of the most disadvantaged groups in the UK is Bangladeshi young men.
Right.
When it comes to literacy, when it comes to being impoverished, but they still have their ecosystem. Most Indian restaurants are actually Bangladeshi owned. Like they have something, the same with the Turkish man. We know they do hella like drugs and stuff, but not all, okay? But when you look at Kurdish people, Turkish people, regardless of their
just said no, I hope she does the same with black people.
Illegality or criminality, they still have an ecosystem that the family can all participate in, whether it's the shops, the restaurants, the this. Where is our ecosystem?
Let's end there. That's ended quite quick, but yeah, where's our ecosystem? The last word. That's a good thing. Let's say it one more time.
Family can all participate in, whether it's the shops, the restaurants, the this. Where is our ecosystem? Even
that's a very good question, and I would like to think that when someone answers that, they want to be a part of the collectivism to make that a thing. So that's what I would say. I think we brought this up before. I had a diagram. I think I started in the document I've got. Well, it's this concept of, I'm not saying that she's doing that now, but I'm just giving up because of what she has done in the past. And that is, when you some of the greatest black leaders of the past were the most harshest towards black community. But when you're alongside the black community, you can do that because we know it comes from a place of love. I think trying to demonstrate that you're coming from a place of love is critical, key, if you want to be speaking on black issues. We just looked at what Tariq Nasheed and those guys are doing, where they're saying they're not best pleased with non-African Americans claiming to be African Americans, as in via people who wasn't descendant of enslaved people, going on to institutions and saying don't give black people reparations, I'm black, don't do that, right? They said they're not best pleased. Well, a case can be made for the sister here if she's going to be seen in so many black shows and programs about blackness. But her if her opinions don't correlate with any kind of black battle, is she the best person to represent any kind of like pro-black or black battle? Not that she ever is, but if a show's about black people, so I think she's there. But yeah, that's just an argument I've heard people make about it. But yeah, if there was, let me see. I think I have another one. That might be 1 second after this one. So this is what that is.
There are some pages.
Hold on, this is over.
Even the hardest of roadman, like when they.
I don't know. Which one is it? What one have you got open there? Is this? Let me check what the first thing was on. Give me 5 seconds to check this out.
Even
the one that says even is the one I've got. So it's the one that doesn't say even. Let's see your one. The one that doesn't say even.
There are.
Yeah, I don't know if this is right after this.
Or people that have grinded and they've decided not to deviate from that. For example, positive news.
I feel myself as well.
I think she's talking about wrong stuff still. We'll see.
And say, I want to be comfortable knowing I just didn't do this just for attention to get likes so I can make a bit of money.
Yeah.
So I think they go down this topic of talking about social media people who do things for clicks, and even though the top content gets dark and this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's interesting. But anyway, yeah, that's me just going off one. So guys, I'm gonna go soon. Unless there's any questions in the crowd. You guys have been fantastic. I've got some things to do. I've got to get ready for me, like this stuff. But I do really want to talk to I want to talk to sisters like that and people who have the same mentality. But also the whole conflict online stuff. It would be good to talk to brothers about why people delineate, or why there's the disagreements and civil wars in certain situations. You know, it'd be good. So because I'm doing a lot, sometimes I literally get 5 minutes to set up the show and have to jump on. So I'm not getting enough time to really set up a show. So sometime soon I'm going to sort out the format of it. But keep brothers and sisters send me the videos. Thanks for that. Keep sending it. Any topics you want, let us know. Big up the brothers and sisters who's in listening live now and those who listen future time. We will try to get a format where we start discussing some of these topics with other people who go through it. It does get challenging trying to get guests and stuff. I do try to create like an effortless format where people can just come on, come off, and speak what you want. But yeah, we're working up blah 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 blah. But anyway, you guys have been good. For those who practice Black Betterment, know that you're important. For those who don't, know that you're loved by those who are important. Keep being constructive, I should say, constructive. And I'll catch you next week. Until next week, everyone, Black Betterment to all Black Betterment. Have a good day, and yeah, all right. Ending the show.